Hello everyone, today's video will be on styling my perm. This is my second at-home perm that I've done, so nothing professional, but my entire hair was permed. So I'm going to show you guys how I style it. It has been about 2 months since my perm when I recorded this video, about 3 months since my perm while I'm doing this voiceover. Sadly, I'm not styling it this way anymore because I did cut it. It is now around my chin, a little longer than my chin, and if I styled it like perm style, my hair would scrunch up pretty short. So I am wearing it straight these days, but at this point in the video my hair was still pretty curly from my perm. I just like having some waves in my hair, some texture. My hair is naturally very straight. Alright, so the first step is to spray it a lot. You don't want it to be soaking wet to the point where it's dripping, but around the point before then. You really want it to be more than just damp. You want it to be pretty wet. I am not a hair professional. I am not someone who naturally has curly hair. I'm just saying that this is what works for me as a person with straight hair who has permed her hair. I used relatively medium to small perm rods. So it's more than just waves, as you'll start seeing the more water I put in my hair. So please, if you have curly hair, I am not saying that this is how you should style your hair. I'm just saying this is what works for my perm that I did on my straight hair. So this is pretty good. Usually I do spray it just a little bit more than that, but around that point is pretty fine. I use either Pillow Soft Curls and Tresemme gel or the Not Your Mother's curl cream and sculpting gel. In this video I'm going with Not Your Mother's. I actually really like it. It smells great. So here I'm saying you really don't want to use too much. If you use too much product, you can't really take it out, so it's better to just kind of build up than to put too much in. At least for me, if I put too much product in my hair, it gets way too heavy and it weighs down. I don't really need so much product for my hair. So what I do is I usually use about a pea size or dime size amount just on the sides of my hair that already get really wavy and curly from the water alone. And then I use another pea size or dime size amount on the back of my head, as I'm showing you now. You really don't want to use too much because then it's just gonna weigh it down, and I like my hair being more fluffy, having more volume. I like to scrunch it into my hair, trying to form those curls, really getting it in there. I do sometimes use a little bit more, but this is typically actually around the amount that I use for my entire hair. I also don't go so much for the back of my head because the perm rods that I used for the under part of my hair, near my neck, I used bigger rods, so that part doesn't really wave up too much, so I just don't feel the need to put much curl cream on there or gel. So around this point, I'm starting to use my gel. I really love this gel. It's wonderful, and I use more gel than cream because this is what actually holds the curl. So at first I rub it in my hands and I lightly put it all over my hair, and then I'm going to start scrunching it with my hands. I also do not use a towel or a hair dryer to diffuse my hair or dry my hair. I have seen better curl results with diffusion, and if I'm not mistaken, you are supposed to half let your hair dry on its own, half dry it with a hair dryer for I've seen that is it's better for your hair. This is not a hair care video. If there's better products to use for your hairs or better ways to go about this, that's great. I'm again just showing you what I do. So yeah, I completely let it air dry. I don't really want it to be too defined and too curly. Also, the more I do that, the shorter my hair gets, and I like it at this length when it's curly, around my shoulders. I think that's a pretty good length for me. But yeah, so spray with water, make it pretty wet. Oh, there's some of my waves, there's some of my curls. But yeah, so spray it, make sure it's wet, not soaking wet, but you don't want it to just be damp. Use a little bit of curl cream. You can always build up, but don't put too much because then you can't take it out. And then with gel, you want to use just a little bit more than the cream, which again, I'm going in and putting a bit more, and I'm doing the same thing that I did with the curl cream, sectioning my hair into different pieces and then putting on a bit more product where it needs to be put on. I focus kind of on the crown of my head, that area, because it's pretty flat. So I do like to make sure that that area has all the cream and gel that it needs so that it looks very voluminous and fluffy once it's dried. I also like to focus on the sides of my hair because that is like what's, shaping my face when you look at my face head on. So that's what it looks like when it's wet. I'm going to show you guys what it's going to look like after it air dries. I don't really do anything like individual curls or anything like that because that's just not like my style for hair, and my hair is also not that curly to be doing all of that. It would not hold. But yeah, this is my hair maybe 30 minutes later and it's completely dry. I did my makeup, but this was now it's completely dry. You can see all the waves and the curls. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.